and welcome. This is Peter Valiani, your host. And this is Making Comics and Art, episode 375. Starting slightly early. But I'm going to jump right into it. First, mention a few things. So, this is the fourth pinup in the Sword Sorcery magazine short story collection book, to which I will be getting a small amount of copies. That's right, Rocket. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting. Yes, that's right. This is my initial sketch. Let's see that. And I laid it out a few times. Get this better. That will do. Laid it out a few times, like doing the sizing and stuff. Character was too big. Just trying to have everything in there to my liking, and think this is okay. It's more of a straight face, but maybe I'll change that slightly in the inking stage. Oh, my cat is being very talkative of late, so please excuse him. Yeah, so this is my fourth pinup. I got the first three for sale if anybody is interested. Hold on. This has been, I could say, good practice, but like, I do want to be a full-fledged artist. So this one, I kind of like it the best. The first one. This was my first one for a short story. This was the second one. This was the third one. Like I said, they're all for sale. And really, like, if you make me an offer, I'll probably take it. The end of last year really hit me hard. Just timing of everything, being freelance and whatnot. Just trying to make it through this month. Behind on some bills. So I put this up in the chat. Tips welcome, which is, you can also see that down below in the description box, along with becoming a patron. Hopefully that's not too loud when I do that. I wanted to work on the house a little bit in pencil. Just flip this around like this. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna barely squeeze by this month. What are you going on about, Rocket? I think he's tired. He wants me to lay down with him, but I got work to do, buddy. All right. So this is a ramshackle house. Let's see. I'll make it all wood. Just change the wood pattern. Where's my Arisa? All right. So yeah, I would like to get this done tomorrow. I got other work to jump onto today. I got some paperwork to take care of. It's like I am way too busy. But yeah, funds aren't coming in fast enough because I am jumping around. It's just the nature of right now, unfortunately. But hopefully, I'll get a little boost one way or another, and I'll be able to um, be a little easier next month. What I'm hoping is one of the things I got going on is a book proposal, a comic book proposal that we're going to shoot off to Image and Dark Horse and however many publishers we need to. There's 7 pages. The first 2 are penciled. The artist is actually getting a scanner, a new scanner. Because he's using a friend's scanner. Um, so that would be good. So I'll get page 2 tomorrow. He should be getting it shipped to him. But yeah, like it's a 4-issue miniseries. This book proposal. I guess you could say it's under the horror fantasy genre. And yeah, if we get picked up, even if it's 4 issues, because of other work I have coming in, that would work out great. If it's a continuing, ongoing book, then even better. You know, I've worked with a ton of pencilers, and Neil is the artist, Neil George, of the book proposal. He's a lot easier to ink than some, so that would be a very, very good thing if we get that picked up. All right. I guess I could tweak this a little bit before I get into my inking. I won't get into inking. Just lower her hairline just a fraction. like to not rush this, but it'll be good. It'll be good. Rough is fine. Being an inker, I've worked on very tight pencils and very, very rough pencils. This is not the roughest I've done. So, oh, forgot a line. This story, like other stories in the book, takes place, I don't know, 1700s. I'm not good with history. I think so. I think so. I'm just curious. Like, I know characters kind of sort of from that era do have glasses. Like, when did glasses originate? And did they always kind of sort of look similar to what you can get today? I know obviously there's a lot of technology in today's glasses, and um, a lot of them look super, super futuristic, but glasses are glasses, essentially the same. All right, what am I going to do? Go with Quill? Well, go with Quill, young man. Go with Quill. So my buddy Rocket, he loves to jump onto my desk for pets and loving. Right now, he's in the window. That will occupy him for a little bit. But yeah, I get random cat hairs. Not conducive to getting some work done. Yesterday I went through my ink. Well, I also opened up a new brush. This is kind of disappointing. If you see, normally I open up a new brush and there's a point to it. This was fuzzy, which is, it could still be a good brush, but I've never opened up a brush, a brand new brush, to where it wasn't a point. So, a little troubling. We shall see. So yeah, I had the ink I use for the brush is the Doc Martens Black Star, which is my favorite ink currently. Um, and what I use for Quill is I have different ones. I have Higgins. Pelican. Both of those, you know, at one time or another were my favorite inks. But, you know, things change over the years. And they both seem more watery. So, which is pretty much good for quill work. I don't like it to be too thick and too black, because then really what happens is it becomes a blob mess. Kind of just going loose. I'll really play with it once I have everything on the page. Like the top area is going to be a lot of black. The little home, which is like a small cabin, I'm gonna really beat up, because the witch in the beginning of the story is she's essentially lost her powers except for to keep her age. I realize like the perspective on this could be a little better, but that also adds to the feeling that it's not a perfect home. Just going in with messy. Messy lines. Hopefully anybody watching this won't be too dizzy. If I could just get the basic line work up on this. That would be a really good start to this piece as far as the inking stage. So a few people jump in. Nobody has chatted with me yet, but you know, I don't typically go on at this time. It's kind of the thing with live streaming. It's like you gotta let your audience know ahead of time when you're streaming. And even though I shared it out, usual time is 4 in the afternoon, but would like to stream before that. Yeah, 4 o'clock. It's a good time period, but you know, if I want to stream longer than my typical, like an hour, cuts into my dinner time. So I got this Paul Pope book. Paul Pope is great. If you don't know his work, look him up. He's got my same initials, PP. Um, he uses only brush, I guess. It's very organic looking. Um, you know, when I worked at Valiant in the early 90s, Stan Drake is a I ain't backgrounds up at Valiant, and uh, mostly on Eternal Warrior, although, you know, I worked on a little bit of everything, even did some production at one point. It was a great experience. Made a lot of good friends there. Obviously, Jim Calvary is my best friend from there. I worked with him a ton on Aquaman and then a bunch of different things for mobile. Iron Man and Sentry one shot. did a bunch of wizard illustrations for Last Man Standing, or the verses, like Marvel character, DC character, that sort of thing. But yeah, worked on Eternal Warrior doing backgrounds. Stan would have already inked the figures by the time I got the pages. And it was just really cool to see his work on it. And, you know, comic strips, specifically like newspaper strips weren't always done the slickest. And I don't, it's like I don't have a definitive style when it comes to how I approach things. And frankly, I want a bunch of different looks. I'll ink a bunch of this with quill, then I'll go in with brush, and maybe go back and forth. Try different things. And for the most part, it's going to be just black silhouette trees. Um, I might have some trees in between trees that are not completely in shadow. But yeah, Stan, if I'm getting the right names, then Drake, Stan Wilson. I know too many people. But he was fantastic. He was really, really good. Even though like the piece I'm working on is 11 by 17, when it goes into the book, it will be much smaller. So you don't necessarily have to be perfect, but I am very anal about how I ink people, and it's years of being a perfectionist. But since this is my own art, it allows me to try different things. So in this case, at least to begin, I'm trying not to be super precious. Been watching this girl on YouTube. She makes her own webcomic. And, looking at her art and style, it's kind of sloppy, but she also, like, she's penciling, she's inking, she's coloring and throwing letters. And when all is said and done, she finishes a page. Looks really good. So she like saves time, but not being super precious with it. Which makes sense. So in this top part, well, the bottom part is the characters inside this house. Small it may start out being. She actually at the end of the story gets her magical powers back, and the home grows. Spoiler. Such as the typical fantasy story. But yeah, this girl Jasmine is her first name. Jasmine. So it's JGB illustration, I believe. She does she's working on her comic Girl Night, as in Knights of the Round Table night. And I really like her videos. One day I might do more videos like her, which are edited and really filmed for an audience in mind. This is, when I live stream, it's just raw. Just me chatting off the top of my head. Hers is like a vlog and her working on her comic, but her like having breakfast and playing with her cat and doing yoga. like a real YouTuber. So yeah, like the top part of this illustration would be a lot of black, and outside it's snowing, so then I'll throw in some snow. Yeah, so if you get a chance, go check out Jasmine. She's really good. Very kind of consistent. And she loves her supplies, so she just you know tries out new supplies a lot. Me, I pretty much have stuck with the same supplies. I've always used the Hunt 102. I'm still using Hunt 102. I've always used Winsor Newton. I'm still using Winsor Newton. I've added a few things, but for the most part, yeah, as long as the supplies are still decent, I will still use them. dirty this up a bit. And since this home will be completely surrounded by black, and do some cross hatching on some of this. For anybody watching, I I got my links down below. How you can support me, support my channel, where you can find me on socials. But also, I share a lot of fellow creators and their, if they have campaigns, or some of the links down below, or them on their socials. But it's all, it's a short list of creators that I enjoy. I enjoy them. I enjoy their work. I enjoy what they're putting out there. In fact, I should add Jasmine to the list. Is another guy, Michael Peters, who I follow a lot. He does more like old school illustration style. And yeah, I want to be more consistent about like the people I support, and be more mindful of like creating a community out of what I'm doing. So if you want to go support people I enjoy, please do. All right. Yeah, I'm going to take a brush to this after the fact and beef up some of these lines. Just going kind of messy. Like the essence of the home, rather than giving you an architectural drawing that's accurate. So I want to get across that, like you're seeing the window, and I'm not going to show anything inside the house, but obviously, like, it's just pure white against the gray of the walls. And then, like I said, it will be surrounded by black. So like the windows will stand out even more. Right. And I flip around because I flip. I'm a flipper. A spinner, as some say. But yeah, I have, a lot of links down below. You check out their comics, their campaigns, their socials, whatever art they're posting, whatever they got going on. Like I streamed last night. It was actually an interview type stream. with Ben Ferrari, who's got a book called Kanin up on Kickstarter. His link is down below because, yeah, we followed each other for years, but had a really good chat before the show last night, and then during the show, and then even connected after the show. I think he's one I want to follow more closely, and I'm definitely going to have him as well as his partner, Kurt Belchner. Not sure how to pronounce Kurt's last name. Blanking on it, but I'm going to have Kurt on at one point next week. Kurt is somebody I followed forever, since DeviantArt days. Like, was it besides MySpace? MySpace was the first thing I was online, and I was on MySpace, and I wasn't even Peter Pagliatti on that. That's really the only time I wasn't Peter Pagliatti everywhere. So DeviantArt was probably the second place I was on, and then Facebook showed up. The reason I got on Facebook so early was my friend's girlfriend was still in school, going to college, and she was on it and knew about it, you know, because it was open to college kids first. You know, it started out as something way different than what it is today. But speaking of Facebook, they altered things. Same thing with Instagram slightly, which, you know, it doesn't look great. It's a simple thing. It's how you provide your personal information is now listed as like under your name on your profile. I think it's not as good looking. It's kind of ugly, and links don't look as cool. Of course, you know, Facebook wants to keep you on Facebook. But my friend Christine, she has a Facebook page, and you have to click twice on her profile to get to her page. That, to me, doesn't make sense. It's like, you don't want people multi-clicking if they don't have to. That's just silly. All right. And yeah, after I fill in the top part with black, because it's, you know, it's at night, but it's also snowing, and I throw a lot of white dots up there. Oh, I was going to mention during last night's live stream where I was interviewing Ben, a friend of mine, Jason, came, and he's Unhinged Entertainment, and he showed up in the chat. And one of the links down below is for his book, Frog G, which he does the art, and he works with other people on that. He has a YouTube channel. He draws a bunch. He live streams, has a live stream show. that's like, like a live stream show. All right, let's see. Yeah, it's kind of neat. I'll thicken up some lines with a brush when I get to that. The trees. Most of this will be solid black, but I wanted to have a few trees behind the trees, and those I'm just going to do in line work. Show a little simple dimension. The other day I realized, so, I've been an inker forever. I've done penciling throughout my career, but it hasn't been a focus until, relatively recently. Um, I've penciled pinups and like sketch cards for people, and I want to say maybe some covers. I don't know. Like a lot of it gets lost in the shuffle. Um, it's like I know it was like a very indie guy that did an image book years and years ago that did a pinup too. Some things like, especially back then, like, in the 90s, I had no idea if I wasn't sent a copy, like my pinup could have been a cover for all I know. um, so yeah, I don't have a good record of what I worked on either. If you Google my name, lots of things come up that are inaccurate. One of the funny things is one of the things that always came up was that I worked on Spider-Man 2099, and that's a book I freaking loved. Especially when Peter David, uh, Rick Leonardi, Al Williamson were working on it, which is at least, I think, the first 25 issues. They might have been the team for much longer. No, wait, because I think the issue I worked on was 26. So I don't know. However that all worked out. But a friend of mine randomly sent me a photo of the credits for issue, I believe it's 26. Um, and I was like, what the hell? I don't remember working on it at all. And don't remember for a fact ever getting credit on the book. So what I did was actually I didn't fully ink the pages. I was assisting my brother, um, and so they gave us, like, you know, I guess he got full inking credit, and I got background inker credit, which is very cool. That's like rarely done, especially for a Marvel title. But we've done collaborations more in the 90s than any other time. Um, so that was pretty awesome. That They did do that. They give me credit. You know what? I'm just gonna go with the pencils on this and not really fuss too much. Is what it is. You know, I was gonna go with a slight angle, but I need to have this done tomorrow, preferably, because I just gotta pull in money somehow. um, it was cool. Like I did that. You know, you do stuff and you put it out there into the universe, and some things hit, some things don't. You know, it's always like I'm not a hot commodity name at the moment. I've been through years of struggling after my ex-girlfriend passed away, and it really took me a while to like just recenter myself and get my career back from essentially zero. Because I kind of, in the end, I kind of didn't work for 6 months. Part of that was I was in Florida for 3 months with my brothers, and that was great and much needed at the time. So I got to be with them a lot and, you know, be more in their world than my own mind. Then I came back and it all came crashing back my reality. You know, I moved to this small town uh, when we became a couple, and I was living in Louisville at the time when I moved here. So, you know, I love this town, but, you know, most of my friends, most of the people I talk with on a regular basis, they don't live here. uh, you know, I barely speak to the people I know in Kentucky all that often. But yeah, it's just wild. Um, so yeah, you know, I came back from Florida after essentially being with family for 3 months. I made the mistake of dating, um, or at least trying to. At the time, I did have money, and definitely dating is an expense. Uh, but you know, I met Lisa online on a, you know, as a dating site. But you know, we're talking when I got back from Florida. This was um, was it? It was February uh, 2022, and you know, when me and Lisa met, that was 2012. Um, and yeah, we were on Plenty of Fish or one of the other popular ones at the time. I forget exactly. Um, those have changed immensely. I guess mostly because Match.com bought a lot of the other dating sites and apps, and I wouldn't say they ruined them, but they're they weren't as good. I came across way too many bots and scammers, and I got ripped off, got my heart broken. Right now, I got way too much work. Not really worried about that at the moment. I might go out here and there. But you know, I have a friend in the Northwest that I know from New York, and I might end up with her. Like her plan is to come out here to my town specifically, and to see if we hit it off. You know, I'm not waiting for her per se, but it could be a possibility. You know, do you all want to know my life? I'm just yapping, working and yapping. Sort of laying down the foundation of what I'm going to be doing with her, getting parameters in. I'll show you. You can pretty much see, you know, I did a lot of fancy cross hatching on her face. Typically, you don't want to do a lot of detail on a female face. It's, you know, the females look more female with a lot less detail. But you know, I love overly detailed things, and I just wanted to, you know, since I had 3 opportunities already to do illustrations for this book, and they said do a 4th one. I was like, let me do something a little more different, a little more challenging. So I'm going to do all this course hatching, and if I do it right, then it will work. If I don't do it right, it won't be a waste of time. You know, hopefully they just like what I do. So we'll see. So last time I was on my channel and streaming, that it wasn't an interview. I was working on an X-Men piece. I will be getting that back to that. I also have an Iron Man piece. Iron Man during the Armor Wars era in the Iron Man comic. What I remember of that was it was John Romita Jr. as the artist. And I freaking love John Romita. Talk about somebody who's very not clean, very not precise. And really, like, you know, he leaves a lot in the hands of inkers. But him with a good inker, and I don't remember who, might have been Dan Green. I'm not sure. I don't know who inked him during the Armor Wars, but something about his Iron Man in that book really clicked for me, really like filled me with joy. There's a lot of artists I could point to that like aren't super clean, that I really just love their work. And you know, like maybe when I'm done with this, it might be perceptibly more clean than what it looks like at the moment. I realize I have a lot of empty space here, but hopefully it is sort of a balance to it. Hopefully it's fun. Oh, awesome. Welcome, Ron. On Copperman. Just found your channel. Subs. Hi. Totally, utterly appreciate it. Yeah, just another comic book guy, artist out there in the universe doing what they love, trying to make a living out of it. I'm not wearing headphones currently. There's a plane flying by. It sounds like when somebody's like small plane. It sounds pretty close. Not sure if you guys hear it at all. It used to be that like I had to wear headphones, but something about my PC's ability, it doesn't always pick up noise outside of just me yapping. You see a lot of random small planes fly by here. There's like a small airport nearby. It's kind of neat. I don't fly. I don't even drive. I'm a spoiled New Yorker. I'm originally from Brooklyn, and back in New York, there was everything available. You know, who knows? I may learn to drive at my age one day. I've also been blessed with girlfriends who drove, and you know, I know there's a lot of jokes about female drivers, but they get the job done. So this woman's hair is going to be black. We have a lot of fun with that, but I'm going to keep her hair blonde or whatever. It would be a lot less line work on hers. So yeah, hopefully it all comes together. It's just a lot of work between now and then, but you know, making comics, making art, it's all a lot of work. And I could be doing this faster, especially since I'm not being super precise. You know, every line you put down, every nuance, line weight, it's a decision. So you're just going through so many decisions every second. And I do kind of want my brain to be making the right decisions. But who knows? So I'm still semi-slow. Like I mentioned, you know, I've been inking comics for a long, long time. Definitely not fast at it. I'm more about precision and quality. I got to be careful what I already put down is dry. Is a artist, inker. Most people know him as an inker, Richard Friend, and he's on YouTube, and he has a great channel. Where like it's sort of like his point of view on different artists, from when, you know, he got into comics and when he was working in comics, and he doing this two new series, 10 and 10 and 20 and 20, and talking about all sorts of artists and you know, from whatever knowledge he could find online or what he knows personally, or guessing guessing like we all do, like on some artists. But he's a fantastic inker, but he was also a fantastic artist himself. Somebody worth definitely checking out. And there was a reason I brought him up, but I forget. Other than there's another guy. Oh, well, I was talking about speed and whatnot. I mean, he has done some incredible inks over different artists that are super detailed, and he definitely has like a sort of speed to him and his work. You know, I got one of the projects I got going on this year is I'm inking pretty big graphic novel. That's all in all, it's probably 150 pages, called Faction Paradox. There is already like 30 pages inked from previous, because it was originally a book through Image. So I think we had 30 pages from that. And it was like 2 issues plus a couple of pages for issue 3. But that I'm going to be working on for a while. It's another something I'll be jumping on later today. Trying to put in longer days, you know. Like I started comics when I was 28. That was 91. And it's a lot easier in my 30s, 40s, even 50s to put in long ass days. I'm trying trying to do that now. I have good days and not so good days. Like I wouldn't say bad days, but just not as productive days. Yeah, just at a certain point, you're just exhausted mentally and physically. Yeah, I've mentioned before. It's like I had a day job before I started in comics. Even a few times while I was in comics, just like seasonal work or even stuff out and out. Took over my life kind of day jobs for a little while. And I could do a physical job where I'm physically exhausted and work a 12-hour day, which I have. Like, in this town specifically, when me and my girlfriend were together, I worked as a dishwasher for a Mexican restaurant. And put in 12-hour days. There'd be a little break for lunch. There'll be breaks in between when nothing was going on, which was like before lunch. Then between lunch and dinner, a little while it slowed down. Yeah, different times, but I didn't just do dishwashing. I also cleaned the place, organized the place. I did food prep in the kitchen. I did salsa every day. Well, I never officially knew the recipe because the boss never let me in on it. But he would put the ingredients in, and I just mix it and set it up for everyone. It's pretty hilarious. Anyway, yeah, I could do that for 12 hours and still be okay at the end of the day. Mind you, this is after a period of like a couple of weeks of getting used to the schedule. but man, um, inking comics is a little easier. Drawing comics is a little more pressure for me. Mental energy, mental pressure. I still consider myself relatively new to it, even though I've been drawing all my life. But me drawing on my own for my own self and sketching and doodling. That's me not even thinking about what I want to draw. That's me just drawing what I love drawing, which is usually like people faces or rocks and trees or or random things. But like when you come up with an idea of something to draw and want something specifically that's in your head to put on paper, and it doesn't come out exactly or even close to what you have in mind, you're burning a lot of energy doing that. But yeah, It's like I will eventually have my own book out, comic book. You know, my own character is called Retro. This is why I'm listed as Peter Retro Palmiotti in a lot of online and places. Um, and yeah, so Retro is sort of a street level superhero. I hope to get the first issue out this year. Um, but you know, with the first issue, a friend of mine penciled it, but with issue 2 on, I'm going to be penciling, well, creating, writing, penciling, inking, and coloring. And I think I'm long overdue for drawing my own comic. Yeah, this is a character I created in my late teens that I've thought about over the years, even back when, you know, I had a full-time day job living back in New York, and randomly think about this character. Ooh, it'd be cool if you meet somebody that does this or does that. Or, yeah, so, you know, like my intention is to, I'll still be working for other people. I'll still be inking. I love freaking inking. Love inking new people. I love inking people I had inked before. I just love inking. Um, but I want to draw a lot more, and I want to draw my own book ongoing. You know, even if it's an issue a year, like worst case scenario, it takes me that long to finish one and put one out. So be it. You know, I've read thousands of comics, been inspired by hundreds of comic book artists and inkers, and you know, all that. You know, I would say growing up, I was a huge Marvel fan. You know, picked up more Marvel titles than anything else, but I picked up independent titles. I picked up DC titles. I picked up heavy metal. You know, lots of things. I've been to New York museums. It's like I love painters. I love, you know, all sorts of art. But comics, you know, comics were always a part of me. To get my own book out there and make it into an ongoing series, and just have fun with it. You know, to be a writer as well. Um, I have a Patreon, which, you know, as soon as I'm buried in work, but as soon as I get some time, I'll be posting about my comic there, as well as uploading pages there, people to read and follow along with my progress on that. And, you know, I'm probably going to do something like when I finish the first issue, which maybe it will be this year, maybe it will be next year. But when I finish the first issue of the Patreon book, which is called Nice Monster, maybe I'll give everybody that's a patron a copy. So, yeah, for those not following me on Patreon, it might be worth it. You know, I've had my Patreon years and years and years. And most of the people who joined me there did so just to support me. I had like a crazy amount of posts there, artwork I didn't show elsewhere ahead of time, and all sorts of things. I did special videos, artwork nobody else saw. I did a few streams there, trying to think of what to provide. But now it's like, specifically, it's Nice Monster. I will throw in other things like advanced things you'll see there before you see them elsewhere. Like there's a book on co-creating, co-writing, penciling, and inking called Icebox, which is a cyberpunk, pretty much TNA book that will be crowdfunding this year. I got some pages to ink. I might ink them and toss up videos on my Patreon first until we, get to the crowdfunding stage. So, looking at my progress here, I'm thinking of there's a comic inker called Bob Whitacre. That's kind of how this feels a little bit. It's going to get a lot more crosshatchy and a lot more crazy. Like I said, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that my approach is not insane and that this will work out, because I'm going a lot looser. A lot looser. So, I wonder if I should just take a 5-minute break and go longer. Maybe I'll do that. Where's a good? Yeah. Do yeah, I'll do that. So I hope everybody watching is sticking around. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask somebody. But 5 minutes, 5-minute break. Be right back. I'll close this up meanwhile. And you can still see the picture. I'll just turn off my mic. but I don't think that was 5 minutes. Thank you all for sticking around. Who do we got here? Apex. Inking the Witch? I am. First, I wanted to show off some things. So this is a piece I did the other day. So fan of Kirby and his work. I've done some like copying his work in pencil. I wanted to do a full pencil and ink piece of his work. It's mostly like what he had on, in the comic, with a little extra lines from me. So it's Palmiati after Kirby. This is 9x6. This is something I have, if you like it and want it, it's $25 since I penciled and inked it. And this was actually a test page over an artist, J. Travis Smith. He's freaking fantastic. We'll be working together on a project, or projects, I should say. I'm a part of his studio, and there's a whole gang of people in the studio. He's mostly the only artist in the studio. It's a bunch of writers. And I guess I'll be the only inker. So these pieces that are 11x17 essentially are $100 each. This was inked over red line. This is another friend of mine, Christy Shin. Her doing Poison Ivy. My inks, she colored it, and we'll have it available as a print. And this is an older piece that I still have available. Looking at it upside down. Okay, so this was after the Aquaman movie came out. It's only my signature here, but it's Gary Edmond. Goes by Odd. He's a fantastic artist. Inked over his pencils. So it's his pencils, then my inks on top of that. It's a great piece. We did 2 of them. The other one was snatched up right away. That's also 100. And then there's, so the witch piece is part of a collection at this point. I did 3, and this would be 4 for it's a website called Sword Sorcery Magazine.com, and they're doing their first collection of short stories. And had a mess of illustrators doing illustrations off the short stories. So I did 3 of them. This was 1. And you can tell I go crazy with the detail. This was another one. These are all my pencils and inks, and this was the first one I did. Those are each 100. And you can message me direct on any of the socials. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. Yeah, this is all. This one's coming together slowly. I'm going to try to jump into brush. Let's see. Oh, I wanted to work on my house first. So I mentioned this early in the video, but typically a brand new brush, which is what this is, comes with a point. And this is not a point, but hopefully it works out. So what you do is you dip it into ink and you twirl it a bunch. I'm not being super careful or precise with this particular piece I'm doing right now. I'm being a little more edgy and just having a lot more fun, see if I can get it done a little quicker than usual. I'll throw down some heavier lines. So Apex has pencils and pages, which I'll be inking. I already started on them, but I gotta finish them. But I got like 10 different projects. Oh, one of the things I wanted to mention is I'm going to put together a post with what exactly I got going on, at least to the best of my ability of remembering everything. If you didn't already know, I've been an inker since 1991. I believe it was September that I started. So over 34 years. I worked for Valiant, I worked for Marvel, worked for DC. Most people still know me from my Aquaman work over Jim Fury. Peter David was writing the book at that time. That's when he had a hook. For those that remember the Aquaman glory days, it has since been put into a omnibus. So all the issues I worked on is actually in an omnibus. I actually have a copy of that for anybody interested. And that is, it was originally listed as, I believe it was 180. But I'll give it away for 125. Like I said, this is all going to be black around the house. Be too fussy. But yeah, since 2000, I've mostly been working on small independent comics. It's like I did the Razor in the 90s, book by Everett Hoxo, one of the original Bad Girls. I think he's having a 35th anniversary of the character. He sold the character, but still has the rights to do his own version of it. So actually, two companies own the character now and can produce books with them. Comics are weird. Yeah, I worked on so much. I wish I had a master list of what I worked on. Definitely like when I worked for Marvel, it was a little piecemeal. I worked on a lot of X-Men titles, but it was like 2 pages here, 3 pages there. Did work on a couple issues of Iron Man, which I got credit for. I say that because like a lot of the X-Men stuff I did, because it was just a few pages here and there, I didn't get credit for the most part, except for Uncanny X-Men 360. It gave me credit for whatever bizarre reason. I don't even know what I inked in that issue. But you know, like my favorite Marvel character um, is Iron Man. He's kind of like a different, kind of a different version of Batman. You know, he's obsessive, always working on something new, some new way to fight crime. You know, he's not as street level. He's a little more fantastical, but so it goes. Oh, cat. Hopefully he'll leave me alone. He can get very noisy. Try a slightly different approach, not being as clean and precise. You know, it's a great opportunity for me to do more of my own artwork. And I'll be getting copies of it. Pretty cool. But yeah, so I got at least 10 projects I'm working on. So I wanted to do a post with like a picture that has what I'm working on for who, like everybody's name. So if you're interested, you can check out the people I'm working with. Somebody's garbage can if you hear that. Shush. Noisy neighbors. But like I said, you know, it's mostly known for Aquaman because that was like the longest series I worked on. Just you know, jumping around so much. You know, I've always been just happy to be getting work and working on things. But you know, I want to redirect my career to the best of my ability and you know, work on my own book from this year going forward. So people can find me better. So I pointed out that you know this is going to be all mostly black up there, and that it's bad cold weather. It's snowing. I look at it like this is the beginning of snow, because you know, I'm not gonna have a white ground. It'll be mostly black. Um, but there'll be snow falling, so it hasn't stopped yet. All right, so it says start here. You know, I've followed all sorts of artists, all sorts of, you know, like specifically anchors. Like when I started working in the industry, I was like, oh, I'll start out as an anchor, work my way up. Well, I've stuck with inking all my career because I love it so much. You know, I've followed so many diverse type of styles and approaches, influenced by everybody. Like, you know, whether they're great or whether they're, you know, just beginning. Like I learn from everybody. You know, I guess I watched a video, forget the channel's name, Beyond the Art, maybe, um, talking about cross hatching, something I love doing. Hey, it's EJB. The Quaker inking style is looking good. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, still kind of in my head, a ton more work to do on this, but yeah, just having fun going for it. Um, but yeah, so whatever I was watching was really talking about more of a insane, quicker, even quicker cross hatching styles where it was barely outlined and more instinctual, kind of built like he was doing a creature, and he built the creature up with the cross hatching. um and yeah, it turned out awesome. And I'll probably try that at some point with something. um this is more like, you know, it's outlined. It's not completely insane, but definitely fun. What else is going on? Oh, so I'm on the East Coast. I'm in Kentucky. We're supposed to be getting a bad storm this weekend. If for whatever reason you follow me closely and I'm not posting as much, uh, maybe our cell tower has gone down. My internet might be knocked out. Who knows how bad it's going to get? I've been watching. Well, I've been following friends on, I believe, on the East Coast that have been already hit with snowstorms. I know like a couple of friends of mine have been digging themselves out just to get like into town from where they are to work or to go grocery shopping. Uh, and they've been having a hard time. We, well, I think yesterday or whatever, it was supposed to snow. Maybe it did snow, but it was mostly rain. Um, and it's Thursday now. I'm supposed to get Saturday and Sunday hit, but no, no one weather service is ever accurate. So we'll see. But I should probably go food shopping uh, tomorrow. Get whatever I don't have. Be able to hunker down. If I need to. Don't necessarily have to worry about shoveling snow. And just keep my front area clean. I don't have a car. I don't drive. I'm from New York. I'm a spoiled New Yorker. Do have a few friends here. If I need to get supplies where I can't walk. I read that something I didn't know is like Michael Bendis, the writer, he doesn't drive. It's like I thought I was the only one, but you know, he's had a super career, and I'm the only one. I'm not the only one. Usually, I even like throw in a border. I haven't even done that. Haven't even done that. Because okay, so I will mention until until it's not a fact anymore. But I got a ton of work, and because I do, I want to finish at least 3 or 4 projects um, before I, you know, get back into watching shows and movies. Like that's something I do constantly, almost all the time. Streaming shows and uh, movies that come out. I watch everything online essentially. Um, and since the first, January 1st, I've been taking a break. And it kind of sucks a little, like, not keeping up with things I love as much as I used to. Um, but I have to finish at least a couple of things. Yeah, you got to be disciplined. Hey, hello, Rex. What you be doing? What's keeping you busy? Yeah, so not watching anything currently. You know, I besides YouTube videos, that's my form of entertainment, but I do that while I work. You know, whether it's interviews or it's art videos, writing videos, what have you. There's some things I watch outside of, you know, comic making videos. One of which there's a couple in Canada that are completely renovating a home for themselves. And, you know, it wasn't the original plan. They were kind of, you know, gut it out and then just put walls up again. But they almost completely they just got it down to studs, and yeah, the look of it is the same. Structurally, it looks the same from the outside. Mostly the same from the inside, except for a few rooms that they improved upon. Yeah. Jenna and Nick, Jenna Phipps. They're a great young couple. He's a freaking genius. I think he took engineering, so he knows his stuff. But still, like it's essentially building a home is a ton of little knowledge bits. You know, one of my pastimes is HDTV. I'm watching, you know, watching people reno homes, watching people build homes. All the shows on there I've watched millions of times. Started from when I was young. There was a show, I'm blanking now, but on PBS. Norm was the assistant. I forget the main. Oh, This Old House. This Old House was incredible. Anyway, it's like alternative to everything. Not everything has to be comics or comics related. You know, I've watched other stuff. I watched reaction videos to movies and shows. I watched those off grid, um, how they live, how their lifestyle is. Um, you know, like I've had a tribe of cats with my ex. I only have one at the moment, down to one. But I've had many cats, and we watched Jackson Galaxy, and even the guy who trains dogs. I forget his name, but different things. Because, like, you know, like there are a few times when I work in complete silence. A lot of times music works, but most times nowadays, especially, I need something playing. You know, Even when I'm streaming, like, there's an option on StreamYard that has like kind of sort of music that plays over and over again. And I didn't want to do that today. It's like, other than my voice, it's kind of silence here. I just remembered I'm streaming this earlier than I typically would. It was like, typically I stream at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's like, it's not 4 o'clock yet. Yeah. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of snow up there. And this is pencil, right? Okay. You know, I was thinking like, it's kind of empty space over here, but it's good to have like negative space on pieces. Because I'm going to do like cross hatching. Um, but still, there'll be white space. I don't want to go too crazy with while using a brush, because then you just screw it up, and these are not cheap. I see a hair or something on the end of it. It's definitely not one of my hairs, but it could be a cat hair. Here we go. Let me get it. Got it. Okay. Little cat hair. My my kitty cat giving me a present. All right. So let's go. Let's see. Yeah, yesterday I streamed with Ben Ferrari. I'm going to have his partner Kirk Belcher on next week. We'll figure out what day and time. He's in Kentucky, as opposed to a lot of people I either watch streams of, or like live streams, or I have on as guests. A lot of people seem to be West Coast or Midwest. How is that possible? I have more friends on the West Coast. I'm sure that when you fill in the black hair, it will bounce up the bottom. Yeah, there's a strong possibility. Because yeah, on the witch herself, which is the character on the right, she will have black hair. Yeah. So in the story, um, this girl who essentially knows all about this character called the Witch of the Woods, goes and seeks her out, and turns out to be her in this small little cabin home, and also turns out that most of her witchy powers are no longer working, except for the power that she uses to keep herself looking young. Because when the young girl finds her, she's shocked that she's not an old hag, essentially. So my thought was, oh, and also that like while she appears very, very young, she does only have gray skin. So I was thinking, well, with a lot of feathering, it will kind of sort of look like she has gray skin. Um, oh, so one of the web comics I have read a bunch of and been meaning to get back to. I've had the creator on multiple times. Um, uh, there's some fiasco going on with the Pete. Like she's part of a thing called the Hive that is her webcomic and other webcomics that like they do the hosting for and other things. Well, there's some fiasco going on, and she's she put her comic, which is called Trying Human, on a webcomic hosting site called Comic Fury. Um, so if you want to see an awesome webcomic, and also somebody, I'm going to have her on at some point again. Her name is Emmy Bunter. If I'm pronouncing it right, now it sounds weird in my head. Um, Binter, maybe Binter. Um, she's hilarious. She's fun. She's a fantastic artist. It's like Disney-esque, like Disney animation style, and it's a web comic about aliens. It's really, really good. I read a ton of it, but I want to go back to the beginning since it's been a couple of years since I kept up with it, and yeah, and now it's still on where it was originally hosted, but it's also on Comic Fury. Try and you type it in and you'll find it. She's a fantastic artist, fantastic writer, character designs, like everything that goes into making a comic. She's fantastic at. And, why she wants to hang out with me a bunch of times, I don't know. I'm just another comic nerd goofball. Uh, but yeah, we've had plenty of chats on my channel and live streams and chatting with other people, other creators, other artists. Uh, I forget the amount of people I've had on my channel. I've technically been on here since I think 2007, but I really didn't start uploading videos and eventually live streaming until 2012, I think. And I've never been super consistent, but it is one of my goals to get back to being consistent, which is, if things go right this year, there's a strong possibility of that happening. I'm not sure if that's going to be the pattern, but that's what I'm sticking with at the moment. It's the essence of what I wanted to put up there. I've been thinking of doing like a small, where is it? Like these 9x6 illustrations. Been thinking of doing some wash, another artistic approach. And I have some watercolors here. I could actually do color work, but that's a whole different thing. I'll get into that eventually. But wash is easier, and definitely like doing it on a 9x6. It's much better than doing something on 11x17. It's almost as crazy as doing all cross hatching on a huge piece. Just popping in, but I will post to X. No, you must stay. You are in the streaming jail. Can't go anywhere else. It's my buddy Jay, a co-writer for Nice Monster, which is, if you want to support me, become a patron of mine, and I will be getting to Nice Monster just as soon as I'm able. My schedule is insane. I can't reiterate that enough. I got over a year's worth of work. And yeah, just constantly getting more. And yet I'm not I'm not up to date with my bills. but I'm working on it. All right, all right, all right. Let me do a fine tuning. Where are we at? Quarter. 2 hours and a quarter. No, that's not right. 2 hours and 15 minutes ish. I am getting hungry, but continuing on. How long, we'll see. You guys being here is definitely encouraging. Yeah, it's like one of the reasons why I want to get back to a regular schedule, which I have done at times, is really like, if people know you're going to show up at a certain time and go for a certain amount of time, they're more inclined to come hang out and encourage you along the way. I've had that on my channel at times. And plan to work my way back towards that. But yeah, feeling the effects of I definitely need to get something to eat in the next half hour, maybe. But I'll continue on. I want to bulk up some of those lines, but it's not urgent. I realize I should have gone finer with some of that. I'll figure it out. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. I guess I'll throws. Shakespeare. Yeah, it sucks being in live jail. Now you may go if you have to. I realize everybody's got their own schedule and time. Yeah, schedule, time clock. I don't know. Time warp. What am I saying? This is what happens when you get hungry. Stop losing your mind. Don't mind me. I'm just losing my mind. What else is worthy? Oh, well, since I had Ben on the other day, I mentioned this earlier, but I put some more links to some things down below in my description box. One of them is Ben and his current campaign. If you want to go check out him and his work and what he's up to. I want to build more real strong relationships with certain creators. So we'll see if that happens. I have a tendency to do things accidentally. I've known so many artists and writers throughout the years. And well, the reason this comes up is the only time any of my writing has been published was with a group called D100s. Now, unfortunately, after the book my short story was published in, that I wrote and did the artwork for, the group kind of disbanded. I still consider myself friends with a lot of them. It was a big group. And still try to keep track of the core group of them. But yeah, it's like they dispersed, and some of them are still working hardcore on comics. Not all of them, you know, some of them maybe just, you know, don't have the time currently. But you know, it's just I've been around long enough where things have formed and things have dispersed, and you know, over and over and over again. But I you know, reconnected with an old friend of mine I know from New York not long ago, and he was somebody, you know, like I did some covers for his indie comic. He's doing other things now, but he, you know, it's like that's somebody I want to. He knows me like better than a lot of people, not everybody, but and he's been to this town in Kentucky, and it's like I have a lot of friends, but not every friend would actually meet up with me in my own town. I'm just in a small town in Kentucky. So he gets a gold star for showing up where I'm currently living. So yeah, I'm having hair fun. I'm a little more precise in how I'm approaching this and not as sloppy. But at the same time, it's like I could spend a year and a day on doing hair. I just want it to come across as hair rather than draw every hair. Should say at this point, if you're watching it and you haven't liked this video, please like this video. If you are not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing to my channel. Just mostly an anchor, but you know, I want to be doing all the things. Well, all the things but lettering. Although I might do some lettering. It's not my favorite pastime. But I definitely want to pencil. I definitely want to ink. I definitely want to write. Write my own character. You know, I have a superhero character called Retro. Looking to get the first issue of that out this year. Consider throwing me a tip. There's a PayPal link. You can throw me a buck. You could throw me $5, or you know, just or whatever's in your account at the time. I kid. You could become a patron and get eventually get some behind the scenes stuff and me creating a comic with Jay, otherwise known as the real Arcadian, there in the chat. Or, you know, I showed off a bunch of artwork. If you like any of the artwork I showed off earlier, if you haven't seen it, rewind it. I have some artwork for sale. You could always commission me. I think well, if you go on X, I have at the top pinned a price list of if you want me to pencil something, commission me, do some inks for you in your book or whatever, you know, my cover rate, my pinup rate. If you want me to mow you on, then you'll have to pick me up. I don't mind mowing lawns. Not my favorite pastime, but you know. That's usually only done in the summer, and you know, there's always that chance that pretty girls hang out with me. So I cling to. I'm just being goofy at this point. I definitely got to get some food. Since I don't have much in the house, I might have to venture out. Although it is the last nice day here before winter comes down with a sledgehammer, which I'm not looking forward to. I think I mentioned this earlier, but there's been a slight redesign, mostly on Facebook. You know, there's it's a little different for Instagram as well, but mostly on Facebook, like where your name is on your own profile page is like sort of your info, your bio. Like it shows off your birthday, and your information underneath your name. It just doesn't look as good. Like your links to other things don't look as pretty. You know, I have a friend who has a page on Facebook, and to get to her page from there, you have to click it twice. It's like, what about this is better? It doesn't look better. You know, not on the PC, not on your phone. So I don't get it. It's like social sites, every kind of site feel the need to change things once a year at least. And I'm tired of it. Tired of keeping up with it all. I'm going Mike Manoa on this hair. We'll stop soon. I'm getting a little giddy. But I love you all. I'm here for you. Any, you know, if you're aspiring artist or whatever, like, you know, I don't consider myself a writer tutor or vastly knowledgeable about writing, but you know, I sort of have knowledge of all the things, and I'm definitely more willing to work with people and pass along information I know, more than some other people that won't go mentioned. No, lots of people are just busy. I don't have kids, you know. Well, my only kid is a cat, so he's pretty easy to make happy for the most part. Although he yells at me a lot more nowadays. This is fun. Yeah, so if you haven't already, give this video a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Support me either by throwing me a tip or becoming a Patreon. I really gotta become more of a salesman. I have artwork, you can commission me. Uh, you know, most of my career I haven't been a salesman at all, other than, you know, asking the individuals I have wound up working with at various companies, or you know, on their own books or whatever. But yeah, we've gone 2.5 hours. I think this is good enough. I'll go and clean my brush soon. I got a good ways away. You know, I might fine tune that area, but it's kind of sort of, I'm warming up to it a little bit. There will be snow falling up top. Yeah, maybe, you know, think about it again. Maybe I will fine tune it because I want more snow to stand out. So maybe I'll fill in some of that black, and yeah, I'll work with it. I'll work with it. She's really good. I might punch up some lines on her hair and whatnot. She's turning out really interesting and cool. So I'm going to have a lot of fun with her hair, and there's going to be a lot of feathering when it comes to doing her face. So that should all be really interesting when it comes together. But thank you, everybody who had come, and, you know, like the few that chatted. Um, I appreciate each and every one of you. So just going over, thank you, Ron. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, EJB. Thank you, Rex. And thank you, Jay, for joining me in the chat. And till next time, stay warm this winter. We're all going to get storms, I think. So keep making comics and keep making art. And yes, I'll try to have luck with the weather, and hopefully it won't be too bad. You know, and all predictions don't always come true.